Hello and welcome to Time for Reflections.
We've found the promised land. I know where I'm going, I know where I have been. When I get to heaven, He's gonna take me in. Me and my friend Jesus, walking hand in hand. Me and my friend Jesus, we found the promised land. Me and my friend Jesus, we have a lot of talks. I know I ain't perfect, I got a lot of faults. But me and my friend Jesus, we travel in God's grace. 'Cause Jesus has the power, and me, I got the faith. 'Cause God will be my witness, I'm proud to take my stand. Walk along with Jesus, walking hand in hand. Me and my friend Jesus, walking hand in hand. Me and my friend Jesus, we found the promised land. Me and my friend Jesus, walking hand in hand. Me and my friend Jesus, we found the promised land.
Me and My Friend Jesus, beautifully sung and written by Dennis Weaver. I wonder how many of you recognized him as Sam McLeod from the TV series of the same name. And I like, again, I like the music, but the lyrics are something else. Me and my friend Jesus walking hand in hand, and somewhere in there he says, me and my friend Jesus, we have a lot of talks, which I suppose reminds me of prayer. I suppose prayer is talking to Jesus. A lot of people perhaps think that prayer is sort of sitting there reciting a lot of prayers that they've learned at school or learned at church, and they recite them over and over again, that perhaps sometimes they don't think what they're saying. I don't know, I like to think that prayer is just sitting there and as Dennis Weaver says, just having a lot of talks, saying to Jesus, thanks very much for another day, thanks for being beside me throughout the day, thanks for helping me, and perhaps ask for anything that we need, because in fact he did say that anything we ask in his name he will give us. I can't help feeling that I think that's what the meaning of prayer in my sense anyway, in the modern sense, the meaning of prayer is just talking, but not just talking, because sometimes I think we've got to stop and listen as well. I'm sure that God does speak to us. Jesus does speak to us, not exactly in in English or in whichever language we happen to understand. I'd like to think that he speaks to us through the way things happen in our life. For instance, through letting doors open, through letting avenues open in what we want to do. Say we've got a decision to make and we think, where do I go next? What am I supposed to do next? I'd like to think that the way Jesus or God speaks to us is by letting opportunities come in our way, and sometimes perhaps by allowing obstacles to come in our way to stop us from going in a particular direction that we think we want to go. Anyway, that's my meaning of prayer. I can't help thinking that when the disciples asked Christ, teach us how to pray, and we remember the Lord's Prayer. Beautiful words there, very beautiful words. They sort of seem to cover all our needs. It starts with saying to God, our Father who are in heaven. It's admitting straight away, you are our Father, and we are your children. Once we accept that, it's like I was saying earlier on, once we accept the love of God without questioning it, I think everything else seems to sort of fit into place like a jigsaw. Hallowed be thy name. Straight away we give him the praise that he wants. But then the other 4 words, to me, mean the most in that Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done. I think, how many times, I wonder, people just say these 4 words and really mean them. I know for myself I find it difficult sometimes to just say, all right, I'm going to give in. I'm not going to fight about what I'm going to do next. I'm not going to question what I'm going to do next. Thy will be done. If only we could sometimes just stop and say just those 4 words as a prayer. I'd like to think that everything else fits into place. Anyway, I'd like to play a rock version of the Lord's Prayer. I like it because it's joyful, and I think praying. I don't believe praying should be mournful. I don't think God likes to see us always sort of with our heads bowed down and on our knees. If we could sing up and dance and say hooray for God, I think he enjoys that. So the next record I'm going to play is the Lord's Prayer, but it's a rock version of the prayer.
It is very much for listening to Time for Reflection. This is Vic Milberg saying bye-bye for now, and God bless.